Hey everybody, just Colin popping here with another quick thank you as always. Everything you guys are doing to support the series, whether that's listening to the podcast, sharing it, supporting us on Patreon, buying merch, buying books, buying audiobooks, everything that you guys are doing right now is, even if you're just like on the subreddit, leaving comments, the energy I feel from you guys is so special and so wonderful. So, so much from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And now let's get into another survival guide. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another survival guide for Season 2. These are little bits and pieces you can listen to before you go back into Season 2, before you re-listen to Season 2, to really just make sure you're kind of in the right headspace, you remember everything that happened in the seasons before, and you're ready going into this new adventure. So without further ado, let's get into it. This one will focus on the adventures that one of our main characters, BC, has had kind of throughout Season 1 and leading into what's happening in Season 2, Shattered Visage. So we actually got to see BC for the first time in the preview at the end of Season 0. She was our title character, or not our title character, sort of our lead character throughout much of Season 1. And she's back after that little preview, she's back and she's in the series. And to start off Season 1, she's reporting to the attaché of a minor family, one of the minor families within Rien, on secret business before she heads towards Velvet for a lazy night at the end of fall. That's where we find her. But through her, we got to know the docks, the alleys of the old city, the access road, and finally Velvet, where she connects with May, the owner and proprietress, and a friend of hers, as May attends to some business of her own. We have some banter between May and BC, and then we jump ahead to morning, where BC is finishing up a long night of partying and returning to bed. But the bliss of sleep isn't all that's waiting for her. You notice, and we learned, that in her drawer, an old iron bracelet was glowing, which signaled the Machine King's return, and sort of hinted to us about BC's history with the Machine King. That's something we're going to unravel later. BC tries to put the Machine King's arrival sort of to the back of her mind. She tries to go on with life as it is. She meets several friends, Waver the bartender, Kalechi and Lau, two senior working girls, and Praden, a worker from Flair who is seduced by the two girls. And she goes about her day, but BC is concerned. We know that she is, and this is evidenced by her, like the state of her full body tattoos, which are clearly way more than just regular tattoos, but we don't really know what exactly they are. And BC has a chill on her neck, and even doing all of her errands doesn't quite shake it. We get a glimpse at a session in the gym where BC's superhuman strength and combat abilities come out, and it's still not enough to get this guy out of her mind, so she turns to hard drugs, just trying to get a little bit of clarity. And it's not sure whether or not that actually works, but we next find BC at a pit party. And it really doesn't seem like the drugs have been helpful, because BC is drinking herself into blackout, and upon blacking in, she responds pretty rashly to two mercenaries. Now, they were trying to assault one of the women and one of the people she's in charge of protecting, but there's a code and a way that these things are handled in the pit, and she clearly doesn't follow protocol. She's within her rights to do what she does, and this is clear. Like, everyone in the pit is like, hey, you can murder these guys for trying to attack one of our family. But after she kills one and cripples the other, BC hurls a Molotov cocktail, or their equivalent, the Dragonfire cocktail, at all the remaining mercenaries. This is considered a bit of a bad mood, and a bad move, and it creates a riot that requires the attention of and the intervention of two separate pit owners. That's big business. Again, BC is well within her rights as a member of the pit security staff to take the actions that she does, and neither Frida nor May steps in there. What they are upset with is the fact that she takes it a step further and causes a massive all-out war in the middle of a pit party, which is considered, again, a bad move. May scolds BC for this, eventually figuring out that the reason BC was acting with her heart rather than with according to protocol, which would have also, again, included probably murdering those guys, May notices that the Machine King is involved, and it's not clear how yet May knows of BC's history of the Machine King, but it's clearly a secret between the two of them, and it's clearly a sore subject. The two sort of clash over what to do, and there's not much time to think, though, because that night, the Machine King's attack on the Eterins, which we see through Val's perspective, through his escape, sends the old city into full evacuation and puts everybody on edge. To make matters worse, just after being summoned by the speakers of the four families who hold a group to reassert their control over the city, BC gets word of a strange Eterin. This is Val, who brings to light, through our perspective, that BC is not Uverin, at least not fully, and has some Eterin blood in her. This adds even more to this complicated character that we're starting to unravel. And frustratedly, she leaves Val and kind of threatens him, but she has a lot bigger fish to fry, at least in her perspective for now. And it's not long before those bigger fish reach the surface. That night or a couple nights after, I forget exactly the timeline right now, there's a simultaneous strike on the workers of all 5 pit establishments, as well as on some of the higher officials of the 4 families. This calls BC and the rest of the elite combat troops, which includes May, to the wharf. There, what waits for them isn't a battle. It's a macabre display of sadistic artwork, a jangling, colorful carousel decorated with the living bodies of captured pit staff, and above them by the dangling bodies of dead Eterins, along with a chilling message. What will you be, my dolls or my puppets? So, either way, you're a plaything for the Machine King, but your choice to do so is whether you do it alive and dancing, or whether you do it for him by hanging by your neck. It's sort of a shocking image to end the season, and it leaves us with a lot of questions as we approach season 2. The main ones are, what is BC's relationship with the Machine King? What are the tattoos that are all over her, and why do they seem to be so much more alive than just ink? What role does BC have to play within the rising conflict within Reen? And, most importantly, how will this vibrant city on the coast of Reen fare as the Machine King's influence descends? A lot of things to ask about, a lot of things to think about, and like we've been saying, you'll have to check back in to find out. Stay tuned for Shattered Visage.